Yes, sir.
Witness remanded of the oath, my lord.
Okay.
Sir, greetings again.
Morning, advocate. Reciprocated.
Now, Warrant Officer Mosia, what is your current title in your job?
Ki commander ko service point ya standard 2 under
I'm the commander at the Standerton Service Point.
under Secunda Local Criminal Record Center.
Otige ngaphansi kweSecunda Local Criminal Record Center.
And on the 26th of October 2014, you were a sergeant attached to LCRC Springs SAPS, correct?
Go jwalo gore ka 26 October 2014 o ne le sergeant o sebeletsa Springs LCRC.
Chanikili constable.
Oh no, I was a constable to car. The constable ngaleso sikhathi nge 26 October 2014 khona lapha ngeSprings.
Now, to date, would I be correct that you are a veteran of the SAPS of 17 years experience?
Jwale ka je gore ka tsho gore o tshwere mokobo gona mane SAPS o na le lemo tse 17 o sebeletsa SAPS.
Ke nnete mrena.
It is indeed so. Uthi yebo kweqiniso lokho ukuthi ngesikulu khona laphana SAPS okanye esiphoyiseni ngineminyaka ewu-17 ngisebenza khona.
Now, before then, you became a commander. You were what we call a field crime scene detective or investigator, correct?
Only pele o tlaba commander. Only a field
Field worker.
worker.
Yes.
Yes, I was a field worker. Okay. Yes. Tike ngangisebenza efieldini angokuba ngizoba i-commander khona laphana esiphoyiseni.
And in that capacity, just in brief, what sort of duties did you perform?
O no etsa mosebetsi o jwang kapa no etsa mesebetsi e jwang mo?
Nka hlalisa di functions tsa ka sekgowa.
It's
I
fine.
can proceed in English to explain my functions. O ka tswela pele hela.
My duties were to maintain the optimization for the crime scene for all crime scene reported and processing crime scene.
Manje ke umsebenzi wami ngokwenza ke isiqiniseko ukuthi sisebenza ke okanye kusetshenzwa ngendlela ke seqopheleni eliphezulu kakhulu mayelana ke negameko kanye indawo la ubugebengu benzakale khona
and the gathering of physical evidence through fingerprint
nokutholakala ke kwengxenye zobufakazi ngegxivizo mhlambe zeminwe
through fingerprint related techniques.
kanti ke lezo indlela kwakusetshenzwa ngakhona ke bekuyindlela ke zokuzama ke ukuthi kulotshwe iminwe emayelana ke nalobo bugebengu benzakele kuleyo ndawo.
And the collection, packaging, processing,
nokuqoqwa ke ukufakwa mhlambe kulamasaka wobufakazi nokuthi ke kulandelwe ke izinyathelo ezithize okanye inqubo ethize emayelana nalobo bufakazi
and fast tracking collection, packaging, and processing, and fast tracking of exhibit from crime scene to forensic science laboratory.
uqoqwa ke ufakwa ngasemasakeni ukuhanjiswa kahle ngokwenqubo nokwenza isiqiniseko ukuthi kuyasheshiswa ke ukuthi kususwe ubufakazi ngengxenye zobufakazi khona lapha endaweni yesigameko fika la kumele ke kuyohlazwa khona okanye kuyohlolwa khona.
and the giving of evidence in court.
Nokuthi ke ngiphaneke ngobufakazi einkantolo.
Did you have any specialized training that allowed you to do that investigative job on crime scenes?
The first course,
So sorry, Mr. Mosia, if I may just give you a hint, because you've opted to give your evidence in Sesotho, so the record will be confused because you speak either to English or Sesotho.
Ratla bua ka Sesotho kapa English ntate?
ka Sesotho.
Okay.
Okay, we'll proceed in Sesotho.
So my question again is that, did you have any specialized training to perform the duties as a crime scene investigator?
Ebe ona le kwetliso e kgethileng e malana le ho etsa mosebetsi wa ho etsa diphuputso hona mane ditulong tse leng hore ditlolo tsa molao di etsa tse teng.
Key crimes, advanced crime scene course.
There was an advanced crime scene course. Ngenza ke advanced crime scene course.
And is it an in-service, on-the-job training with the SAPS?
Ebe o ile wa kwetliswa ke yona SAPS.
Ho jwalo morena.
It is indeed so. Yebo lolo qeqesho ngaluthola khona kwi SAPS.
And with respect to your duties as a crime scene investigator, what type of cases or crimes did you regularly and normally attend to?
Mosebetsing ono wa hao o no ya ditlolo tsa molao tse jwang, mefuta e jwang ya ditlolo tsa molao a ntse etsa mosebetsi wa hao.
From the housebreaking,
From the house breakings, ukugqekezwa kwemizi,
and robberies, house or business robberies,
kanti ke uphangwa ke khona laphana ke kwama business okanye imizi,
and murders,
bulalwa kanye ukubulala,
and a heist,
kanti ke nama heist ke banjwa kwenkunzi kwemoto ephatha imali kanjalo.
and little case studying thing at MI2P, malicious damage to property,
And many other cases such as the MITP or the malicious injury to property. Okanye ke ukumoshwa ke ngempahla ke amaqala afana nalawo ke.
And how many shooting death crime scenes have you attended as a crime scene investigator?
O ile wa ya hona mo no ditlolo tse tsa molao tse leng hore mo o no sebetsa jwalo ka motho ya fuputsang ditlolo tseno tsa molao tulo tse leng hore ditlolo tsa molao di tsa teng.
di ngata haholo.
There's many of them. Ninga khulu lezo ndawo engaya kuzo.
And in how many trials would you estimate that you've testified in courts, regional, district, high courts in South Africa?
Jwale di puong tsa dinyewe kapa di trial o ile di trial tse kae di khotleng tsa molao mona South Africa kapa di regional court kapa di high court o ile makatla makae.
High court ke kgetlo la ka la bobedi,
Now as far as the high court is concerned, this is my second time.
and the magistrate court ne ke attendile di case tse ngata haholo.
At the magistrate courts, I've attended numerous cases. Lana ke enkantolo ephakeme, okwesibini ke ngiza la enkantolo. Kanti ke uma sikhuluma ke kulezi enkantolo khona bomantshi khona, ngiye kaningi kakhulu khona. Ngiyothola ubufakazi bami khona.
And when you say the high court, it's only 2 occasions. Are you referring only to this particular matter, 63610 of 2014?
How to jalo or high court u tlile makatla mabedi e be re bua ka yona nyo yona ena ya 636.
Tjhe, e ne le double murder eo.
Okay.
There was double murder at that case. Dike leyo ke kwakuba ke amaqala amabili wokubulala.
Now, directing your attention to the events of 26 October 2014, you receive a call that you must attend, and correct me if I'm wrong, a shooting incident or a shooting in progress incident at 13511 Kutlano Street, Mzamo section, Fosloras, correct?
Ka di 26th of October 2014, o ile wa fumana mohala o re ngwena o tlameha hore o ye hona mane 13511 Kutlanong Street e leng Mozamo ho bile le ho thunyana ho bileng teng hona mono.
Ke nnete ke thotse mohala ele ba reporta ele ha ba reporta house robbery and ba hlalosa hore someone was shot ka mohara ka hona le motho a thuntsweng.
Yes, it is indeed so. I received a phone call that was reporting that there was a house call robbery that transpired in which a person had been shot inside of that house. Manje ke kweqiniso lokho ngathola ucingo olumayelana ke nokuthi kube nokuphangwa endlini thize lapho ke kukhona umuntu wadubuleka phakathi kwalowo muzi lo.
And who did you receive the call from?
O ile wa fumana mohala ono ho tswa ho mang?
O Brigadier Ndlovu.
It was from Brigadier Ndlovu. Uthi lo cingo la qhamuka ku Brigadier Ndlovu.
And you testified that at the time you were on standby duties for the following areas: Reger Park, Don Park, Fosloras, and Zonke Zizwe, correct?
Ore kana ko eno onole standby ka bono tsa mosebetsi wa ho dula o le malalalaotse bakeng sa tulo tsena tse latelang e leng Reger Park, Don Park, Fosloras le Zonke Zizwe. Ebe ho jwalo?
Ho jwalo morena.
That is indeed so. Uthi yebo kuyiqiniso ukuthi ngaleso sikhathi ke ngangivele nje ngenza umsebenzi wokuba ku standby mayelana ke namalokhu njani ke lezi indawo ezilandelayo i Reger Park, i Don Park, i Fosloras kanti nasezonke izizwe.
And your further testimony is that you received that set call at around 23 hours 45 minutes, correct?
Le hore o ile wa fumana mohala ono ka 23:45 minutes.
Ho jwalo morena.
That is correct. Yebo ngathola lo cingo ngaleso sikhathi quarter to 12 ebusuku.
And what time did you arrive at the said crime scene?
Wa fihla kana ko mang hona mo tulong ya tlolo ya molao
20 minutes after midnight.
That was 20 minutes after midnight or 20 past 12. Uthi ke ngafika ngalezo sikhathi ke 20 past 12.
And who was there at the crime scene when you arrived for the first time? Let's talk about the police officers that were on the scene at the time.
How ne o fihla mono ke mang aneng a le gona mo tulong ya tlolo ya molao a re bue ka mapolesa a ileng a fumaneha gona mo tlolong ya molao kapa tulong ya tlolo ya molao.
Ke fumane maponesa a uniform.
I found the uniformed police officers
and lady detective.
I also found the detectives as well. I believe they belong to the Fosloras station. Ngingathola amaphoyisa lawa agqoka i-uniform nalaba ke abaphenyayo amacala. Uthi ngiyakholwa ukuthi lawo maphoyisa ke wase-Fosloras station sase-Fosloras.
And ka fumana le Brigadier Ndlovu mo crime scene.
I also found Brigadier Ndlovu at the crime scene. Kanti naye ke o Brigadier Ndlovu ngamthola khona lapha endaweni yesigameko.
Now the uniformed police officers, how many were they?
Analmagaya mapolisa a uniform. I cannot remember. Uniform
Okay. Now, just to clarify that point for you, two sergeants came to this court to testify, Mtetwa and Matebula.
Hona le bo sergeant ba babedi ba leng batla ba tlisa bopaki mona kgotseng la dinyewe re bua ka Mthethwa le Matebula.
And they testified that they were the first responders on the scene together with two other student constables.
Ba re he ila ba batho ba pele ba hore ba fihle hona mane tlolong ya molao ka tulong ya tlolo ya molao. Ibile ho ntse ho na le baithuti hona mo mosebetsing ono ka matsamang ba babedi.
That upon they went to the scene, And then from there, they went to the hospital to gather information as to what exactly transpired in that house. And they went back to the scene.
Ore ha ba fihla tulong eno kapa tulong ya tlolo ya molao ya ba kamera mono ba tloha ba ya sepetlele mme ba khutla sepetlele ba khutlela hona mane mo tlolo ya molao e etsaetseng hona mono e le hore ba kgone ho fumana tlhahiso leseding kapa dikarolo tse itseng tsa bopaki.
That they returned back with Makumalo back to the scene.
Le hore ha ba khutla se ba tsamaya jwalo le Makhumalo hona mo tulong ya tlolo ya molao.
But that they left the 2 student constables at the hospital.
Kante baithuti bana ba mapolesa e leng bo constable ba babedi ba siwa hona mane sepetlele.
That once they had processed the scene and found the bullet fragment or projectile on the floor, they then called CSC for the photographer and the detective.
Jwale ya ba kamera ho ba fuputse hona mo tulong ya molao ba fumana kulo eno e leng ya botla jwalo ka projectile ha ba hlokomela seno ya ba founela CSC le hore ho founelwe ho tholwe eno yang kang dinepe le polisa le leng hona mo.
That they were in charge of the scene until the arrival of Captain Zwani.
Le hore ba ile ba dula ba ntse ba beile tulo ya tlolo ya molao lihlo ho fihlella ho fihla Captain Zwani.
And that soon or sometime later you arrived on the scene. They referred to you as Mosia, that you arrived on the scene as a photographer.
Le hore kamora nako wa bo fihla hona mo tulong ya tlolo ya molao mme ba bua ka wena jwalo ka ntate Mosia.
And that Captain Zwani then pointed out the exhibits that were already found on the scene to you and then showed you the scene.
Captain Zwani abe au bontsha ona tsona dintho tseno ka dikarolo tseno tsa bopaki tse ileng tsa fumaneha hona mo tlolong ya molao bakeng sa hore wena o kgone ho tlonka dinepe tsa tsona dintlha tseno tsa bopaki.
And that at some stage later, a bevy of policemen arrived from the task team, and amongst them, according to Mtetwa, he recognized Brigadier Ndlovu.
Ore kamera mono a fihla mapolisa a mmalwa hona mono mo e leng hore go ya ka Mthethwa mapoliseng ano o ile a kgona ho bona hore yane a leng teng mapoliseng ane ke Brigadier Ndlovu.
So let's stop it there. I was just giving you how they testified in court that the first person that showed you the scene was in fact Brigadier Ndlovu, that they were in charge of the scene until they, it's Captain Zwani, who pointed the scene and exhibits to you. They leave the scene to him. And when the task team came, took over. And the duty officer from task team was not Brigadier Ndlovu. It was Captain Matebula, who's now deceased.
Jwale ne ke le ka fela hore ko fe setshwantsho se ka reng se tletse mono hore Captain Zwani o ne a le mono tlolong eno ya molao kapa tulong ya tlolo ya molao ha o fihla wena o tlonka dinepe jwalo ke ena motho a neng a o bontsha hore o nke dinepe ka mofuta o feng mme ho fita Ndlovu jwalo e le hore Captain Zwani yena o ne a se a le mo mme Matebula e leng hore le yena o ne a le teng hona mo le ileng a fana ka tlhahiso leseding le ha ile hore ka jeko ha sa leyo o se a le a boya batho.
Are we on the same page? Now,
yes.
the people that were in the house that came back from hospital, Kelly Kumalo, Zandile Kumalo, Makumalo, Dumelo Madlala, where were they at the time when you first came to the scene?
Sa pele wena ha o ne o tla hona mo tulong ya tlolo ya molao batho ba ne ba le sepetlele ba khutletseng ka ntlong e leng Makhumalo, Kelly Khumalo, Zandi Khumalo, Tumelo Madlala. Wena o fihla ha mono Bane ba le kae batho bana?
ba ne ba le teng mo scene-eng.
They were at the scene. Labo bantu ke abebese esibhedlela sikhuluma ngamalungu walelo khaya okanye lo mndeni uMakhumalo sikhuluma ngoKelly Khumalo, uZandi Khumalo noTumelo Madlala bebekhona khona lapha ke endaweni yesigameko.
And exactly in which part of the house were they?
Jwale bane ba le karolong e feng ya ntlo?
Ba bang ne ba le ka mo ntle, and ha ke hopola di-detective ne ntse di interrogator batho ba ne ba le ka mo ntlong.
Now some of them were outside.
Ba bang ne ba le ka mo ntlong ba dutse mo couch-eng le detective.
Some were outside and others were inside of the house and seated on the couch. They were being interviewed. If I remember clearly, there's some of the people that were interrogated or interviewed inside of the house. Othi-ke abantu bebengaphandle kanti abantu bebekhona ngasendlini. Uma ngikhumbula kahle kwakhona amaphoyisa khona lapho abebeloko-ke ephenya ebuza imibuzo. Khona-ke abantu bebehleli khona laphayana-ke esofeni kwi-couch bebuzwa imibuzo ngamaphoyisa.
Would I then be correct to say that you are the first crime scene investigator that arrived on that scene that morning, because now it was already the 27th of October 2014, correct?
Ebe ke tabe ke nepile ha ke re wena o motho wa pele e leng hore o fuputsa dinyewe wa hore a fihle hona mane tulong e mo leng hore tlilo tsa molao di letsa ka botlolo eno ya molao ile ya etsahala teng mme he ka lebaka la hore o fihlile e se le ka letsatsi le hlahlamang ka matswama le ha ine ntse ile bosiu fela ine le ka di 27 tsa October ebe ka be ke nepile ke tshwara
Ho jwalo mrena.
it is indeed so. Yebo kuyiqiniso lokho ukuthi mina ophenya amacala wafika kuqala khona lapha endaweni yesigameko kanti ke ngenxa yokuthi ke kwase sekushintshe ne date nanoma ke besingathi bekusasebusuku kanti ke ngokushintsha ke kwesikhathi I date ke lase selishintshile kuyi 27 zika October asisakhulumi nge 26 ke manje.
What did you observe when you first got into that crime scene?
Ntho ile ngwa ihlokomela ha o fihla hona mono tulong eno ya tlolo ya molao ile ba eng kapa dintho tse ile ngwa di hlokomela ha o fihla tulong eno ya molao ile ba tse feng?
Ke hlokometse thupa ya ho tsamaya.
I observed a crutch. Thupa ya ho tsamaya?
Walking stick.
A walking stick. Sorry, I actually noticed a walking stick there at the scene of the crime. Uthi-ke ngiye ngaqaphela ukuthi kwakhona-ke udondolo khona lapho.
And ka hlokomela bullet hole mo fatshe tiling.
I also noticed a bullet hole on the floor that is on the tile. Uthi-ke ngase ngiyaqaphela ukuthi kwakhona imbobo khona laphana kuyithayela khona lapho phansi endlini.
And hona pila yona bullet hole hona le kulo esinyeleng fragment, bullet fragment.
And right there next to that spot of the bullet hole, there was a damaged bullet, and according to the witness, it is a fragmented bullet.
And le katiba,
And as well as the head, khona lapho-ke kwatholakala nenhlamvu eyayise moshakele ngamanye amazwi eyayilimele eduze leyo ndawo-ke la inhlamvu ifike yashaya khona kanti-ke nesigqoko satholakala khona lapho.
and le bullet hole kamora lehlafi la kitchen.
And the bullet hole at the back of the kitchen door. Kanti-ke nembobo yenhlamvu emva nje komnyango okanye isicabha sasekitchen.
And le madi ane a le fatshe pela couch le mahareng a couch, stilo couch le TV stand.
And as well as the blood that was on the floor, between the couch and as well as the TV stand. Tike negazi-ke elalikhona elalibonakala khona lapho phansi. Phakathi-ke ne-couch nelokho njani-ke i-TV stand.
Now, you observe all of those things that you've just mentioned, did you then document or memorialize your observations?
O hlokometse ntho tsena kaofela tseo seng o buile ka tsona. Ebe o ile wa leka wa di ngola fatshe bakeng sa ho ikgopotsa kapa mohlomong wa leka hore o di hlophise ka tsela e leng hore o tla hopola ka tsona ka teng.
Ke ile ka di ngola fatshe ka ba ka nka dinepe.
I actually journalized my observations and as well as took the photographs of what I had observed. Uthi yebo ngempela ngiye ngabhala phansi ngaloba phansi ngaze ngathatha ke nezithombe za lokho engakuqaphela okuyingcezu zobufakazi.
And how did you write it? Where did you write it down?
O ile wa di ngola fatshe kae?
Mo crime scene report.
At the inside of the crime scene report. Tike ngabhala phansi kuleyo ke ngcenye yesetshenziswa okuyi crime scene report.
And according to your recollection, how many crime scene photos did you take yourself, not the one that you've been testifying about of Colonel Muthatlo?
Kantle ho tseno tseo no o paka ka tsona tsa Colonel Muthatlo wena ka bowena o ile wa nka dinepe tse kae tsa tulo eo ya tlolo ya molao?
Tse robedi.
8 of those that I took uthi-ke mina ngathatha iy'thombe eziwu-8 sesingasakhulumi ke Colonel Mhlahlo ke khuluma ngami uqobo lwami ngathatha eziwu-8.
And in the morning, when Tastin was working with you, especially Colonel Muthatlo, according to what we've seen at the end of the state's evidence in chief, how many pictures did Muthatlo take? I saw up to 130. Is that the pictures roughly that she took?
O ile anka dinepe tse kae tse 130 Colonel Mhlahlo?
Ho jwalo mre.
That is correct, yebo kuyiqiniso lokho ke ukuthi ekseni uKolonel Mhlahlo ke wathatha lezo ithombe ezingaba 130 zonke.
And is there any specific reason why you only took 8 pictures on the night as the first responder who the incident was fresh when you arrived at the time?
Ebe lebaka le teng la hore wena jwalo ka motho wa hore a fihle pele tulong eno ya tlolo ya molao hore o nke dinepe tse robedi fela ka nako eo.
Ke ile ka ba le challenge camera ka ine sanse dinepe tse hlakileng.
I encountered a challenge. My camera was not taking good quality pictures. Tike ngiye ngaba nenselelo yokuthi ngakwazi ukuthi ngithathe izithombe eziningi ngoba ke i-camera yami ibingakhiphi lokho njani ke izithombe ezase zingeni elikahle okanye eliphezulu.
Now, the items that you referred to, the exhibits that you previously referred to, the head, the crutch, the blood, head, projectile, everything that you saw, you were shown those by the first responding officers that were on the scene, correct?
Dintho tsena tso seng o buile ka tsona katiba le re kapa walking stick crutch madi dintho tsena kaofela ntho tsena kaofela o ile wa di bontshwa ke maponesa a ileng a fihla pele hona mo tulong ya tlolo ya molao.
Ho jwalo mre.
It is so yes uthi zonke lezi zinto ingcenzo zofakazi esengikhulume ngazo isigqoko udondolo igazi zonke lezo zinto ke ngaboniswa amaphoyisa afika icala khona lapha endaweni yesigameko.
Now, you as a crime scene investigator with your trained eye, did you then process the scene again to see if they had missed anything? Because they are lay people when it comes to crime scene investigation.
Jwale wena jwalo ka ha o le fokisi le leng hore leihlo la lona le se le kwetlisitswe ebe le kamora ho ba o jwetswe hore na ke tsena dikarolo tsa bopaki wena o ile wa iketsetsa diphuputso tsa hao kapo bo fokisi ba hao ho netefatsa nyewe ya hao.
Ho jwalo mre.
I did so, yes. Yebo ngiye ngakwenza lokho ke uthi ngikwazi ukuthi ngiphenye nami njengomuntu oqeqeshiwe ngaphela labanye akusibona abantu ababeqeqeshiwe yebo ngakwenza lokho.
Where exactly did you process the crime scene and what exactly were you looking for?
Jwale o ile wa tla wa kenella karolong e feng ya tulo ya tlolo ya molao le hore o no hlahlobisisa o sheba eng le eng.
Ki hlahlobile kitchening
I examined the kitchen or investigated the kitchen
and the
ngazama ke ukuphenya ngiye ngaphenya khona ngase kitchen
and the sitting room mo batho bane ba dutse teng.
even inside of the sitting room where the people were seated ngase ndaweni yokuhlala okanye sitting room la abantu bebehleli khona ngaphenya nangalapho ke.
And lebaka la ka ke ne ke shebana haholo le cartridge case kapa bullet e ka bang teng ketsahalong eo.
Now I was investigating in search of the cartridge cases or perhaps the bullet that can be retrieved in the scene. Mina ke ngangiloko ngibhekana ke nama cartridge case okanye ke inhlamvu ebengatholakala khona laphana endaweni yesigameko.
Now, in the kitchen, specifically looking for or searching for projectiles, shell casings, and the like, where exactly did you look?
Ka kitchening here ha ntso sheba di projectile le di shell casings hantle ke karolo efeng ya kitchen mo ile hore no sheba ho yona.
Ke shebile fatshe mo ke thotseng bullet hole.
I checked on the floor where I noticed a bullet hole. Uthi ngabheka phansi la ngithole khona ke imbobo yenhlamvu.
Ka sheba le mnyako ka bona hore bullet ha ya tswa. And jwale ka tsakeka nana hore mohlomong e ka ya be o etse ka hara mnyako.
I also checked the door as well and I realized that the bullet did not exit the door. And I thought to myself, perhaps it had fallen between the layers of the door. But I did not find that bullet. Ngacheka ke kulesi sitapha ngoba kuphela ke imbobo yokuphuma kwenhlamvu ibengabonakali. Ngase ngiyacabanga ke ukuthi mhlambe leyo enhlamvu yawela nje emaphakathi ngomnyango. Ngase ke ngiyacheka ke ngangayithola leyo nhlamvu.
Now, I've never looked at the pictures because the ones that I have are quite grainy of the door, that is photo 18 of the damage to the kitchen door. Yet I see a hole. Are you saying that hole did actually penetrate that door to create a hole whereby a projectile could actually fall in the between the hole of the door panels?
Ebe ke yona ntwe we hlalosang eno le ha fela ke saka ka gona go bona hantle senepe seno se leng photograph number 18 ebe se o hlalosang ke hore monyako o ile wa bona lesoba mo ile ngore monahano wa ha o ile wa re ke lesoba la kulo lena le leng hore kulo ya teng hona le kgoneo ya hore ile ya wela mahareng di layer tseno tsa mnyako di panel tseno tsa mnyako.
Ho jwalo mre.
It is so, yes. Tiyebo kweqiniso ukuthi ngacabanga lokho ukuthi na imbobo yenhlamvu kanti ke kunokwenzeka ukuthi leyo nhlamvu iye yawela nje phakathi kwamapanel walo mnyako.
Now, from photo 15, if we look at the dimensions of that kitchen, photo 15 exhibit D, if we look at
photo 15 exhibit D, the witness is producing the file. We told the photo 15? Yeah, I found photo 15.
In your investigation, when you document a scene, you also take the dimensions of the scene, correct? If it's relevant for your investigation, correct?
onka mahlakore a fapaneng a ditlulo a kapotulo ya tlulo ya molao ha e le hore mahlakore ano a buisana le diphuputso ka bofokisi ba hao ha o etsa mosebetsi o no ka dinepe.
ho jwalo morena.
It is indeed so uthi yebo uthatha wonke amahlangothi mhlambe we ndawo khona lapho isigameko senzekele khona kakhulukazi uma ngabeke lezo ithombe ezokwazi ukuthi ziqinisekise uphenyo engilenzayo.
And from the testimonies of Zandile Khumalo and Tumelo Madala, those are the people that are familiar with this house. They're saying this kitchen is quite cramped up, it's tiny. What was the dimensions of wall to wall from the cupboards to the sink? What was the dimensions of that kitchen?
Haholo ho tswa bopakeng ba Tumelo Madala le Zandile ba se ba hlalositse Zandile Khumalo ba se ba hlalositse hore tulo eno ene e le nyane haholo kitchen ene e le nyane haholo jwale mahlakore a yona kitchen ena ne ka ba boholo bo bokae.
Distance e ke e sebedisang ha ke etsa mosebetsi wa ka ke sebedisa distance ya exhibit le point 18.
Now, whenever I'm executing my duties, the distances that I am using as references would be that of the exhibit at a particular point. Manje uthi ke mina ke uma ngenza umsebenzi wami ngiphenya khona laphayana ke isilinganiso engisisebenzisayo isilinganiso sokusuka kwingxenye yobufakazi ukuya endaweni ethize okanye kuyiphuzu elithize kuleyo ndawo.
Now, on that point that you raised, that you looked at the hole and you, correct me if I'm wrong, you assumed perhaps the bullet went through and fell through the crevices of the panels of the door, correct?
Be ke nnete tweno or ho tswa baking bona bona bo fana ka bona wena o ile wa sheba mokoti wa kulo be le hore o nahana ka botla le mohopolo wa hore e kabe e wetse ka hare go mapatso a monyako ono e be ke nnete.
Ke nnete jwalo.
That is correct. So
Now-
buyiqiniso lokho ukuthi mina ngibheka umnyango nayi inhlamvu ishayelela okanye nayi imbobo la bese ngiyazicabangela ukuthi leyo mbobo nganokwenzeka ukuthi inhlamvu yakhona iwele nje emaphakathini komnyango.
Now let's start on the left where there are those glass jars. I think there's a kiddies formula can or whatever, the orange thing here, bluish in color as well, the brown dots on the left of that picture. Did you search for the possible bullet that hit that arrow sticker mark damaged anywhere on that cupboard side or in the left hand side?
Ebe o ile wa hlokomela ke bona hore na ntho tse ngata ebe o ile wa kgona ho fuputsa ho tloha hona mono mo ho bontshang letshwao mo eleng hore bullet ile ya ho tla teng wa hlokomela le ka thoko ho hona mono mo eleng hore bullet ile ya ho tla teng. Ba bona hore bona ha re sheba hodima mona setshwantshong sena ho hlalletse dintho tse mmalonyana ke formula ya bana mono le basic le mono ho na le dijeke tse leng hore di a hlaya ebe wena o ile wa fuputsa hore ha o finyana le hona mo ho tleng kulo teng ebe ho na ntho tse itseng tse leng hore o ka kgona hore o hle o di tshwaye haholoholo ka re ho na le letshwao mono o ile wa hle wa hlokomela mo.
Ke hopola hore ke le ka sebedisa mahlo ho sheba ntle le ho suthisa dintho tse ne di le hodimo.
Well, I remember that I used my eyes as the instruments to can check around that particular spot or area without removing the items that were on the top of the cabinets. Manje ngikhumbula ukuthi ngingasebenzisa amehlo njengezisetshenziswayo zokuthi ngikwazi ukupopola ukubheka khona laphayana elokho njani kuleyo ndawo la kwakwenzekeke okanye la ngibone khona lezi zinto zenza ngaphandle kokuthi ngisuse izinto ezazi phezulu mhlambe kwe cabinet kanjalo.
And also, whilst you are still at that side, where that counter ends as you come towards the passage or the hallway, I see there's what appears to be a silver fridge just coming onto the picture there, and there seems to be a gap. Did you also investigate for that bullet in that area as well?
Ke a bona ha o ka re o tla ka passageng ka mona, ho na ntho e ka reng ke fridge mona. Jwale e ka reng e silver ka mmala tjena. Ebe o ile wa hle wa fuputsa le hona moo maelana le yona bullet eno.
E ke tshepa hore ke tsamaisitse mahlo ho lekola kelello ya ka e ne e le lebakeng la hore ke nahane hore kulo e keneng ya wela ka hare ho monyako.
I believe that I actually used my eyes to check around, even that spot in particular, because I thought that that bullet could have hit the door and then went inside or fallen within the crevices of the door. Ngithemba ukuthi ngingasebenzisa nje amehlo wami ukubheka kuleyo ndawo nokuthi ke le nhlamvu ngicabanga ukuthi iye yasha umnyango yawela ngaphakathi kwaleso sicaba.
But at the same time as well, you could not conclusively rule what is called ricochet of a bullet, correct?
Empa le ha ntse le jwalo ha wa ka wa bella ka thoko ntlha ya hore kulo e ka be ile ya wotlamane ileng ricochet ya bullet.
You could not completely rule out in that scenario when you are looking for that bullet. You cannot just look at the hole and say, okay, it fell there, let me look. You are a forensic investigator for crime scenes, and you say specifically you are looking for shell casings, projectiles, and the like. Right?
One okekebe wa bella ka thoko ka wa intsha ntlha eno ya hore bullet ena e ka be ile ya thunya ya wotla ditulong tse mmalwa ka hare ka hona ka hare ka mono jwalo ka ha wena o ntse etsa diphuputso mono ka poetsa bofokisi ba nyewe eno wena o forensic investigator jwale o itse o ile mane o ilo sheba di shell casings o sheba dikulo ntho tseno jwale ena ya hore kulo ile ka sekgowa ba re ya ricochet o keke wa bella ka thoko hore kulo e ka bile ya etsa jwalo e seng ha ka lo fela ile o tla fela mona wa fella ka yona a kere
ho jwalo
o ile wa hopola hore kulo e ka nne ya etsa ntho eno.
Now let's go to the right.
It isn't it so. Uthi yebo kuyinto lokho ukuthi ngiye ngacabanga lokho ukuthi inhlamvu ibinokwenza ukuthi mhlambe ithi mayiphuma mhlambe ikhashulwa ilokho nje isibhamu ishaye endaweni ezihlukene.
Now let's move to the right-hand side of the kitchen area, which is the sink, where I see also there are kitchen utensils and the like and the stove. Did you also search for bullet, projectile, shell casing and the like on that side of the kitchen?
We wa hlokomela bullet projectile shell casings hona mona ka kitchen mona re a bona hona le sink mono na le stove mono o ile wa ke wa lekodisisa le hona mo
ke tshepa hore ke se ke hlalositse hore ke ile ka sebedisa mahlo ho lekola tulo eo ka hane se ke le mnahanong wa task team e tla tlameha hore e tlo nthusa re process a crime scene.
Now, as I had already explained, that I used my eyes to can observe that area or investigate that area. And I also had this in mind, that the task team would be arriving and they will be assisting me in the processing of the crime scene. Njengoba ngasise ngishilo-ke ukuthi ngisebenzisa amehlo wami ukuthi ngivele ngibheke khona laphana kuleyo ndawo nokuthi ke nganginomqondo ukuthi i-task team izofika ikwazi ukuzongilekelela ekutheni sikwazi ukuphimisisa leyo ndawo kahle.
And siphiyo sa hore re bitse task team ko hore re etse bonnete ba hore crime scene e fuputswa ka tsela e hantle.
Now, the aim of us calling the task team was to ensure that the crime scene is being properly processed or investigated. isizathu kwaba yisona ke leso sokuthi kubizwe i-task team ukwenza ke isiqiniseko sokuthi leyo ndawo yesigameko iphenywa ngendlela eqotho.
And task team ke provincial team ke yone e re thusang ka di specialized equipment hore re fuputse ka tsela e.
The provincial task team is the one that is furnishing us with the relevant instruments that we can use in order for us to can process that scene of the incident properly. Manje a provincial task team ibona ke abasilekelelayo ngeyisetshenziswa zokuthi siyisebenzise-ke ukuthi siphenye khona laphayana ngendlela eqondile khona laphayana la endaweni yesigameko.
Mr. Mosia, next time I'll ask you to answer a direct question directly. You went off tangent. I didn't want to be rude to you. I'm not that lawyer. But next time, answer a direct question directly, please.
Jwale ha botsa potso e otlulileng ka lekgetlo le tlang le wena o arabe ka tsela e otluluileng. Ha ke leke hore mohlomong ke be motho ya sa lokang ho wena fela ke mpane fela ke le ka hore ke o hlokomedisise.
Sorry, Mansell, what's wrong with the response?
Your Worship, he went off on the story because he's now anticipating my cross-examination.
Yeah, so what?
I'll come to him. I'll come to that aspect.
No, you can't say he's anticipating. You asked him, what did he do? And he tells you what he did by using the naked eye. And he also adumbrates that version by saying, I was also, meaning him and his colleagues, were awaiting the task team to come and ensure that the crime scene is properly investigated and processed. And he says, because the task team has instrumentation which enables them to be thorough. What's wrong with that answer?
It's very wrong, my lord. I'll tell you the court why. By then, he hasn't even phoned Matebula to ask for task team.
No, we're not talking about Matebula. I'm
Yes.
talking about his response to your question, not Matebula.
Yes, but the task team is only activated once he had called Matebula, my lord.
He says he was there when the provincial task team, when it arrived. Where were you, sir?
How fitla provincial task team wena o no le kae?
Ke ne se ke le teng ke khutla di crime scene tse pedi.
I was
So
already
he was
there,
there.
and I had
That's
already
not in
attended
dispute.
2 crime scenes.
That's not in dispute.
Okay, proceed, sir.
Okay. Now, having searched that kitchen with your naked eyes, did you find any projectiles, any shell casings, any fragments anywhere on the kitchen tops, both sink level and cupboard level?
Jwale o ile wa sebedisa mahlo a hao ho etsa diphuputso ka bofokisi ka hona ka mono ka kitcheneng. Ebe mahlo a hao a ile a kgona ho hlokomela hore hona le dintho tse ka beng di robehile kapo tse thubileng kapo masalla dintho tse ileng tsa lemala kapo ho sheba di shell casings hoduma ha kabete le hona ka mane ka karolong eno ya sink.
Ke tsamaisitse mahlo hodima di cupboard, and then bullet fragment e nngwe e ke thotseng e ne e le fatshe.
Yes, I did apply my sight over the tops, or rather over the top of the cabinet and as well as the sink, and the only bullet fragment that I found was on the floor. Tiyebo ngeke ngasebenzisa amehlo wami phezu kwamakhabeti kanjalo nangale kuleyo ngxenye ke yesinki kodwa ke okuke kwabuka njengengxenye yenhlamvu yatholakala khona lapho phansi.
Now, there's testimony in this case that at least 3 shots were fired in the vicinity of that kitchen area. And I know that you are not a ballistic expert by any stretch of the imagination, but if you can comment, you can. Did you see any bullet holes except the one that you've marked with a arrow sticker there and the damage on the floor, on the tile? Did you see any other damage that will show that there was another shot, the third shot that was fired in that confines of that kitchen.
Jwale ke a tseba gore hakalo ha o setsebi sa ballistic fela he ho bona le bopaki bo seng ba bo ileng ba ntshiwa mona go teng la dinyewe bo maelana le gore sethunya se ile sa gabola makgetlo a mararo mme jwale ha re ha sheba re fumana gore mona snapeng sena ho hlailla ditulo tse pedi tse ileng hore kapo bopaking ba hao le wena o se bile wa hlalosa ka ntlhayane e leng hore e makiwe le hore ho bile le soba mane detaileng ebe hona le ntlha e nngwe e witseng ha o sheba ka hona ka mono ka kitchening wa fumana hore hona le kulo e ileng ya otla hape teng ka ntle go tsena tse pedi.
Che ha hona e nngwe ntle le tse pedi.
There isn't any other sport save for the two sports. Manje uthi ke kukho ke la inhlamvu eke yasha khona ngaphandle ke ukuthi kube nendawo eziwu2 phela. Phezulu kwalokho akukho ke enye indawo eke yabonakala kwangathi indawo eyasha wa inhlamvu.
Now, your testimony is that now, once you had processed the kitchen, you are satisfied with what you've seen, you then call Captain Matebula, who then advises you that you must wait for the task team, as you say, to come and assist you with the scene, processing of the scene, correct?
Kamera ho ba he o hlokomele jwalo ka kitchening jwalo me kamera mono ya ba e le hore o founela Captain Matebula e leng yena he motho ana tla thusa hore ho tle task team e tlo thusang hore ho tswele pele ho etswe dipuputso ka bofokisi hona mono tlolong eno ya molao ho jwalo
Ke founetse Captain Matebula ka morao hore ke thole dintlha tsa ketsahalo ka bona hore ke crime scene e tla batlang more attendance.
I phone called him, that is to say Captain Matebula, after I had established certain points pertaining that crime incident. And I thought to myself that there will be a necessity for the task team to arrive and assist.
And hape re na le standard operating procedure of 063 CSI 063P e re laelang hore crime scene tsa mofuta o ra tla tlameha hore re bitse task team.
Now further, we have got an operating standard, which is the CSI 063, which entails that such a type of crime scenes should then be attended to by the specialized team, by the specialized team.
I know that policy because this case involved a high-profile personality, correct?
Policy no high profile. That is correct. Uthi yebo ke kuyiqiniso lokho ukuthi leli qala limayelana ke nomuntu we profile ephezulu. Kanti ke kukhona ke inqubo noma indlela esebenza ngakhona emayelana ukuthi ke uma sifika endaweni yegama kanjalo kwamele ukuthi silandele leyo nqubo ke ye CSI 063.
Now, just to complete on this picture and your processing of the scene, testimony also is that the victim who later became deceased, Mr. Robert Senzo Meiwa, was taken through that kitchen door by those who helped him out to take him to the BMW X6 that was parked just outside where the house is lettered Spaza. Do you know of such evidence?
We are able to jwalo hore eno a Senzo Meiwa e neng le hlasipa ka nako eno ka hare ho ntlo yona ena o ile a nkuwa he a ntshuwa hona monyakong ona ono a isuwa koloing ya BMW e neng e pakile haufi le lebota le kantle le ngotsweng Spaza shop mme a tlo kenywa ka hare ho yona koloi eno ebe ho na le bopaki bo jwalo bo e leng hore wena wa bo tseba.
Ka ha ba sebedisa monyako wa kitchen ho ya ka nna ka mokgwa ke boneng ka teng ke tshepa hore o butswile ka ona monyako wa kitchen ha ba mo tsamaisa.
Given the fact that they were using, or that which is said that they were using the kitchen door, in my opinion, after having observed that kitchen door, it is that it is possible that they could have exited through that kitchen door to take him and load him into the vehicle. Galendlela ke ebekwa ngakhona la kimi okanye ngendlela nobufakazi ophume ngakhona lana mangibheka lo mnyango lo wasekitchen kuyakhonakala ukuthi ngempela bakwazi ukuthi mabaphume ngalowo mnyango wasekitchen ukumhambisa ke usenzo leyiwa emotweni.
Now, my easy question is this: just to process the scene, did you see any blood droplets just outside or even in the immediate vicinity of that door? On the step, there's a step outside, and just outside the vicinity of that door, did you see any blood droplets outside that you processed?
We wabona mohlomong le ha ka ba mafafatsane a madi ona mono pela ho mnyako jwalo ha re latella taba ya kitchen le hore ba ile ba monka ba montsha ka ona mnyako ono wa kitchen hona le stepisinyana mono ha o tswa ka mnyako ono wa kitchen ebe wile wa khona ho bona di droplets ka maqhaphatsa a madi mono.
Che a ke a bona letho.
No, I did not see blood to that effect. Tika azange ngibone ke igazi lapho okanye angibonanga lutho lapho emnyango.
Now, your testimony is that at some stage you then receive another standby calls from Fosloras and I believe Zonke Zizwe as well, which necessitated you to leave the crime scene at 13511 Putlano Street, correct?
Jwale ore ho ya ka mpaki ba ha wile wa fumana mohala o tswang Fosloras Zonke Zizwe meseno sile sa etsa hore o tlowe hona mane tulong ya tlolo ya molao.
Ho jwalo ngwe.
That is so, yes. Tiabo witness lokho ngathola ingcingo ekhamba eFosloras nase Zonke Zizwe. Lokho ke kwangiphoqa ukuthi mangisuke kule ndawo lena ke enganguyo yesigameko.
Who did you leave the hand over the crime scene to when you left that scene?
Wena ha o tsama o tloa hona mono tulong ya tlolo ya molao. O ile wa sia mang he hore be yena a dulang a beile leihlo tulo eno ya tlolo ya molao.
Ke ile ka itlaleha ho Brigadier Ndlovu le ha ho ne ho na le team ya hae ka mo hara crime scene ke tlalile ho Brigadier Ndlovu.
I reported myself to Brigadier Ndlovu, even though there were members of his team that were inside there or that were at the scene. I did report that to Brigadier Ndlovu. Uthi mina ke ngiye ngabika kuye uBrigadier Ndlovu. Na noma ke kwakhona amalunga wethimba ithimba lakhe lona uBrigadier Ndlovu. Ngase ngiyibika kuye.
And if I got your testimony correct, is that you left that scene at 01:30 a.m. on the 27th of October 2014, correct?
Jwale ha ebe le hore ke nepile o ile wa tloa hona mo tulong ya tlolo ya molao ka 1:30 say.
Ki entse phoso mobane ho mentiona 0140 mo ke recordileng teng scene report ka e re ka 0.
I have made a mistake yesterday when I spoke about 0114. Now, according to my report, it should have indicated a different time, and the witness is busy producing his documents to try and ascertain.
It's 0240.
It was a 0240. 0240. Okay. Always saw na isikhathi siqondile 0240 manje 20 to 3 ekseni Tatagusa.
Now, you returned back at around, what time was it, 6 a.m., then the task team is already there, or you waited for them, then they arrived?
O khutlile ka bona komang ka bo 6 hoseng e le gore o so fumana task team e le gona mono ka buile wa tsala jwang o ile wa emela ka wa leta gore task team e fihle e be wa tsamaya wena.
Ke ile ka leta gore task team e fihle.
I waited for the arrival of the task team before my departure. Ke mina ngalinda ukuthi task team ayifike angokuba ngizohamba khona lapha.
Now, in fact, let's go back to this kitchen because that's where the scene took place, because everybody else says the scuffle happened in this kitchen, so we'll use photo 15 again as our reference.
Ha re khutlele gona mane tulong ena ya tlolo ya molao haholoholo senepe sena sa bo 15 hobane ho ya ka bopaki khula no ebile teng e etsahetse hona mono ka kitchening eno jwale tla sebedisa senepe seno ya utlwahala
Wa utlwahala.
I understand yebo ngiyazisa ukuthi sizosebenzisa ke lesi sithombe ngoba ke lokhu ukudonsana kwakwenzeka khona lapha yana ngase kitchen kwenzeka kule kitchen lena manje sisebenzisa wona lo mfanekiso kuyi photo number 15 yeah uthi uyazwisisa.
And according to testimony on record is that the scuffle took place between, on the one hand, the two suspects, and on the other, the people that were in the house, Kelly Kumalo, Mtokozi Sitwala, Sandile Kumalo, Makumalo, the deceased, and Tumelo Madala.
Joale khulano ena ka boskafolo sena se ne se etsahala hona mane ke mahareng a ba belalo bana ba babedi le Makumalo senzo meyo mofu re bua ka Zandile Kumalo, Kelly Kumalo ebe wa utlwisa mono ka bona le karaba hona mo.
Ke a utlwisisa.
Now, in that
Yes,
context,
I understand. Yebo ngiyazwisisa ukuthi ngempela kwaba nobambabambana khona lapha yana kitchen. Lokho kwakwenzeka phakathi kwalabangenelele ababini kanti no Senzo uMakhumalo, uKelly Khumalo, uZandi Khumalo Tumelo Madlala.
now, in that context, when I ask you, what is gunshot residue? What will you say to me?
Hanka ubotsa hore masalla a situnya ke eng o ka araba ka hore ngwana.
Ke tshepa gore ka araba ke ballistic ka botlalo. Empa le nna nka leka ho e araba.
I think a full explanation would be finished by the people from the ballistic or the ballistic section. However, I can also give it a try.
Ke powder e ka hara cartridge case ya bullet.
Now, inside of the cartridge case of the bullet, there's a powder in there.
Then after kamora hore sethunya se sebetse. Powder e ya tshologa. Then kulo e ka pele ya tswa and then powder e tswa ka lehlakoreng then re trace yona mo letsohong.
Now, after the bullet has been discharged, the powder gets to be ejected onto the side, and the bullet obviously it gets to be discharged with the barrel. Then this is the powder that I am referring to that would then be traced on the hand. Manje uthi ke emva uthi ke inhlamvu iphume khona le powder ke nayo ezophuma ngapha ngasehlangithini kanti ke iyona ke leyo powder ekungukuthi senza uphenyo ngayo.
Now, GSR, gunshot residue test, is conducted and on anybody. For example, in our particular instance that was there, exclude the two suspects that allegedly ran away. All the people that were in the house, including the victim himself, Mr. Robert Senzo Meiwa. GSR will be performed on them to show how close they were, or if at all they handled that firearm that allegedly fired at that kitchen area, correct?
Jwale, GSR test tsena ka po di hlahlobo. Is it gunshot?
test.
We say
Gunshot residue.
gunshot. We say
GSR.
gunshot residue test.
Prima residue test.
Yes.
It is actually the prima residue test. Di etsuwa ho batho ba reng ka mo ntlong re se re hlokomela ntlha gore bana ba babedi ba ileng ba kenella bona ba baleile ebe o ile wa etswa diteko tseno go duma ha batho kaofela ba ne ba le ka ntlong go sheba gore na ba ne ba le hole bohole bo bokae le hona mo sethunya se ileng sa gabolela teng le hore mohlomong go ka ne go etsagala gore ebe ba ne ba se tshwere sethunya seno ebe go etswa jwalo.
Ho hetsuwa jwalo ka tlasa mabaka a itseng.
That is actually done under certain circumstances or certain reasons.
Ha eba ho na le pelaelo ka e mong ana a le teng a ka amehang polaong.
Such a procedure will then be followed only if there is some suspicions that there could be one person amongst those that were inside of the house who could have participated in the demise of this particular person. To get lokho kuyenzeka uma ngabe kukhona insolo ethize ukuthi khona omnye wabantu ngaphakathi oke mhlambe kuyacatshangwa khona lapho okanye mhlambe ke kuyasolwa ukuthi waba yingxenye yokufa komuntu othize leyo nqubo ke yenziwe.
Now, if I follow your reason and it is correct, why will it then be done on the victim themselves?
Jwale ha ebe le hore go latela hantle ebile wena o nepile hobaneng ho tshwantse hore ho etsuwe seno ho mahlasipa kapo ho le hlasipa?
Ake hopole e etsuwa ho lehlasipa.
I do not remember that being done or conducted on the victim. Uthi cha angikhumbuli lokho kwenzeka kwisulu sobugebengu.
E ka ba lebaka la hore victim mhlomong e committile suicide ka sethunya and then riot.
It could be that perhaps the victim had committed suicide using a firearm. Then, in that instance, such a procedure will then be conducted. Uthi kunokwenzeka ke ukuthi umuntu wayibulala esebenzisa isibhamu. Uma kunjalo ke kulapho ke kuyolandelwa ke le nqubo okukhulunywa ngayo.
But then, in order to eliminate the people that were in the house as potential also suspects, GSR will also be performed on them to see if they handled a firearm, if they were in the proximity of that firearm when it was fired in the confines of this kitchen.
Bakeng sa hore mohlomong bona ba belwe ka thoko diphuputsong ho etsuwa diteko tseno le go bona batho ba o leng hore ba bona ka mahlasipa.
Ho jwalo le hanga etso tlhaiso ya hore prima residue test ina le nako e itseng e le teng mo mothong.
It is indeed so. However, I need to further explain that there is a certain period that a prima residue will be found on a person. In other words, there's a certain duration that it will be lasting on a person, that prima residue.
And hape e sitiswa ke movement wa motho or wa batho le nako.
And further, other factors that are affecting it would be the movement of a person and as well as the time or the time frame.
But the gunshot residue does not only attach to the skin, it also attaches to clothes as well, correct?
Ke nnete hore a gun residue ha ebe masalla fela hodima letlalo empa le godimo ha diphahlo ho jwalo.
Ho jwalo morena.
It is indeed so. Thiba kuyiqiniso. Kunezinto eyithize mhlambe ezikwazi ukulawula indlela esebenza ngayo mayelana ne primary residue noma leyo powder ke khafulwa isibhamu uma ke isibhamu siqhuma. Isikhathi nokuthi umuntu ulokuya hamba lezo zinto kumele zibhekwe kahle. Kanti ke kuyiqiniso yebo ukuthi leyo powder ayihlali nje kuphela kwisikhumba somuntu kanti naphezulu kweimpahla zakhe iyasalela leyo powder.
Now, the long and short of all this exercise is that the PR test or the GSR test was never done on the people that were in the house when the shooting incident took place, correct?
Kabo khutshwane fela teko eno ya GSR kapo primary residue test ha ya ka etsiwa ho batho ba ne ba le ka mo ntlong.
Ho jwalo.
Yes, it was never done. Yebo kuyiqiniso leso sivivinyo azange senziwe GSR leyo or PR
PR test.
Yeah, PR test. PR test leyo azange yenziwe kulabantu abebengaphakathi endlini.
Now you then get the blessings of Brigadier Ndlovu to attend to other scenes that need your attention. The exhibits that you have collected, the heads, the projectile, what else did you collect? Did you collect the cans that were in the sitting room?
The what?
No.
The cans. Okay. No, I did not.
And
I did not.
And the crutch, what did you do with it?
Crutch wile tsankana.
Crash angaba kai investigator Leon.
I did not investigate the crutch as well. Uthi yebo crutch azange ngenze uphenyo ngayo.
Ka lebaka la hore ke e belonga ho emong wa mahlatsipana le katlong.
Given the fact that it belonged to one of the victims that were inside of the house. Azange ngenze uphenyo ngayo leyo crutch ngoba kwakuyimpahla yomnye weyisulu ezazikhona ngasendlini.
Now, when you go to, I just want to get this point. When you go to attend those scenes, the exhibits that you have backed and tagged, what are they and what did you do with them?
Karolo tseno tsa bopaki tse lengwa di nka e laba eng le eng le gore o ile wa etsang ka tsona.
Ke katiba
It was a hat
le bullet jacket.
and a bullet jacket.
Ke di package-ile le ka di kenya mo koloing ka tsamaya le tsona.
I packaged them and loaded them onto the vehicle, and I drove off with them. Lezo zinto ke okuyisigqoko nelokhonjana leyo nhlamvu ke ayimoshakele ngase ngiyayithatha ngayifaka kuyilokhonjana kule sakana lakhona lobufakazi ngayifaka emotweni ngase ngihamba ngazo.
And when you went to, say for example, attend the arson scene or the robbery case that you were called for, where were these exhibits? Were they locked up somewhere at Fosloras in SAP 13 for storage in the meantime, or did you go with them to those things?
Jwale ha o ya he ditlolo tse ding hape tsa molao tsa robbery kapo arson kapo ho tjheswa ha moaho kapo ntho e tipa e itseng ntho tse nne di kae le ba di siya hona mane tulong e bolokehileng di kwalletswe hona mane Fosloras police station kapo maemo le ba feng o ile wa tsamaya le tsona o ya ditlolong tse ding tsa molao ka tsona.
Ho jwalo.
Ho jwalo eng
Ke tsamaile le tsona ka koloing
ho ya ditlolong tse ding tsa molao. It is indeed so. I actually traveled with them. I was they were in the vehicle at the time that I was driving to attend to other scenes of the incidents. Lezo zinto ke zayikhona emotweni ngihambe ngazo ukuya khona lapha la kube enobugiving khona okanye kwezinye ke igameko.
And where were they stored in the car as you were processing those two scenes, the arson and the robbery case?
Ne di le kae karolo e feng ya koloi ha o tsamaya wena he o lo fuputsa nyewe tse ding.
e le ka booting.
They were inside of the boot. Manje ke lezo ingxenye zobufakazi ngangifake eboothini.
Ka hara forensic bag.
Inside of the forensic bag. Ngaphakathi kwale sakana ke le forensic.
Now you complete processing those things. You come back to the scene. Task team arrives, and you hold a debriefing session with them. You walk the scene through with them, showing what you've done, what you've processed, and you restart the process again with warrant officer now, Colonel Mhlahlo, correct?
Jwale wa khutla go tswa gona mono ile teng ha o fihla o fumana task team se le teng o buisana le bona mono ebile o ntse ba bontsha dikarolo tseno ka dintlha tseno tse maelana le bopaki bo wena o ileng wa bo hlokomela gona mono me kamera mono e se le wena le warrant Mhlahlo
Jwalo.
Mr. Mosia, so that I don't inconvenience you, let me know each time you need a break. You must let me know because it completely escapes me. So if you need a comfort break, let me know.
Ntse he ha be lo re mhlomong o hloka kgefu nyana jwale ke se ke lebetse nna o ntse he
Jwalo.
I'll do so. Here ngizokuthatha lo uma ngabe khona ikhefu nje engilidingayo but it's not too bad.
Now you and we've seen the swabs and everything else, and I've got no qualms with that aspect of your processing of the scene with Colonel Mhlahlo. Let's go back to 50.
Let's see this one. 50.
Now you reprocess the kitchen again, and earlier in your testimony you testified that because of the priority of the case as a high-profile task team must be activated, and they've got special equipment to assist in gathering of evidence, correct?
Ke nnete ke rem hore o ile wa sheba wena ka wena wa hlokomela ho ebile wa ba wa bona hore ho na le tlhokeho ya hore ho be le task team o tswa go provincial ke that is correct. Yebo kuyinto lokho ngiye ngaqaphela ngabona ukuthi hayi cha sekufuneka ke abantu abazongilekelela lana okuyingoti okanye abantu abakwazi ukwenza umsebenzi futhi ngezinga ke elifanele okanye eliqondile.
Now you reprocess the kitchen area again, and on the left where there are glass jars and in the vicinity of that damage to the kitchen door, you then locate a projectile, correct?
O sheba hona mono mo hona le dintho mono di jacket tseno monyako kwane o lemetse ha ntse o sheba mono ke ha o bona kulo kae kae. It is so, yes.
Was any special equipment used to locate that projectile, or did you use your naked eyes?
Ebe hona le tsela e tlileng ya sebediswa ho bona projectile eno kapo hona le o ile a sebedisa mahlo a hao fela. We're only using our naked eyes and our hands as well, just to check there. Sasebenzisa nje amehlo nezandla zethu ukuphenya nje leyo ndawo lapho.
Now you use the word we. Let's separate. That's a tiny place for two people to be fiddling with the jazz. That's just. Did you personally search that area and locate the projectile, or did Colonel Mhlahlo search that area and locate the projectile?
Jwale ha ke re le ke we khaola ka bo we utlisa phapang e itseng hore mona o bua ka hore re ebe bantulo eno nyane ha holo hore batho ba ka nne ba tshwara ba le mmalwa tulong e nyane ha ka wena ka bo wena o ile wa fuputsa ka bo wena mo no ntse o tshwara ka po ke Colonel Mhlahlo a ile nga etsa mo a ile nga tshwara
ke Colonel Mhlahlo.
It was actually Colonel Mhlahlo Othi ukena umhlahlo kahle kahle ke ube lokhu ebamba khona lapho endaweni yesigameko.
And the nature of those glass jars, I'm not sure which photo reflects the close-up of those glass jars.
Re leka ho sheba fela hore na ebe di-glass jars tsena ne di le jwang.
Okay, it's page 125.
124.
Four.
If we look, the nature of those glass jars is that they are transparent jars and they've got what looks like grains or legumes or cereal. Where was in relation to those two glass, the location of the projectile that you found?
Ha o sheba di-jar tsena tse pedi tse o bonang hore nka di na le ho itseng ka hare, e ka ba dipeunyana tse leng teng ka hare ka mono, kapo eng le ka mo hare ka mono. Jwale projectile ena o ile wa e fumana kae ha o bapisa le di-jeke tseno tse pedi tse bonahalang tseo tsa kgalase?
E fumanehile pela lebota ka morao di-glass jars.
It was located close to the door behind the glass jars. Yes, it was, if one looks at photo number 127, it does show where it was actually located, behind the glass jars, close to the wall. Close to the wall. Uthi-ke iyatholakala nje emva kwalezo lawo majeke lawo amabili wengilasi, kanti-ke kwakuseduze nje nebonda, noma-ke leyo ndlela ingasemva kwazo.
And just in your own words, what color is this projectile? Because for me,
It's a copper color.
It is uthi-ke umbala we-copper-ke lo ola.
Now, the two officers that I referred to earlier, Mtetwa and Matebula, under cross-examination, they considered that they also looked on the counter tables in the kitchen that night. And in your evidence in chief, you said the visibility was proper in the house. There were lights in the house. They also used their naked eyes and they could not see any projectile on the counter tables in the kitchen. What is your comment on that?
Eno mathebula le Mthethwa ba ile ba tlisa bopaki ba bona ba hlalosa taba eno ya hore le bona ba ile ba kgona hore ba shebe ka hona ka mono, ebile le hore ho ne ho kgantshitswe ka moo fela ha ba ka ba e bona kulo eno. Wena o hlalosa taba ya hore ho ne ho kgantshitswe mme o kgona ho bona kulo eno, ebe wena o reng ka taba eno ya hore bona ha ba ka ba e bona kulo eno?
Che, ha ke na tlhahiso ka seo.
I do not have any remark about that. Cha, angikwazi ukuphawula okanye angekukhona ukuthi ngiphawule mayelana nalokho-ke.
My Lord, I see it's approaching 1 o'clock. Can I ask for an adjournment and I'll proceed after lunch?
What's the time?
It's 1 o'clock. The return time, my Lord, 2 o'clock.
No, I mean now, you say it's approaching 1 o'clock.
It's 1 o'clock exactly, my Lord.
Okay. Is that a watch from Hong Kong or what?
What's the name, my Lord?
That's a